You're watching this because you're exhausted. And I don't mean physically. You probably got your 6 or 7 hours of sleep. But you're exhausted by the sheer, crushing weight of your own potential.
You've played by the rules. You went to school, you got the job, you bought the car, you subscribed to the hustle culture. Yet, here you are, scrolling, waiting for a spark.
Let me tell you a harsh truth that no motivational speaker wants to admit. You don't need more motivation. Motivation is a scam. What you need, understand friction. For the next 15 minutes, I am going to dismantle everything you've been taught about success. I'm going to introduce you to a concept called strategic subtraction.
In America, we are obsessed with addition. If you're sad, buy something. If you're broke, get a second job. If you're distracted, download a new app to block the stack. Download a new app to block your other apps. We just stack things.
Imagine driving a car with the parking brake pulled up. The engine is roaring, tires smoking. You're burning gas, but you're barely moving. And the gurus tell you to press the gas harder. But what happens when you press the gas with the brake on? You destroy the engine. You burn out. This is exactly what is happening to the modern worker.
You aren't failing because you lack drive. You are failing because you refuse to release the parking bay. You refuse to subtract.
Let me introduce you to the two-mirror theory. Imagine a guy named David, 32, decent job, nice apartment. But every Sunday night, he gets that tight feeling in his chest. David lives looking into the first mirror, society's reflection. He sees his credit score, his followers, his title, and then the mirror tells him he is falling behind. So he panics.
He works 60 hours a week to buy things he doesn't need, to win people he doesn't even like. And then one day, he gets laid off. The first mirror shatters. He loses the title. He sits in silence. And in that silence, he is forced to look into the second mirror. It shows you who you are when no one is watching. David realized he was exhausted from playing a character. And stopped the latches jet. When he stopped adding to his life and started subtracting, he found absolute clarity. He just needed to remove the heavy armor.
So, how do we apply this? How do we practice strategic subtraction in a world that profits off our exhaustion? I want you to do 3 things tonight. Number 1, starve your distractions. Every time you doom scroll, you give away pieces of your soul to an algae poison. Delete the apps that make you feel like you are losing. Number 2, audit your desires. Ask yourself, are these my goals, or did society hand them to me? Let go of the goals that don't belong to your authentic self.
Number 3, embrace the void. Stop filling every quiet moment with a podcast, a song, or a video. Sit in the silence. That is where your true north lives.
You don't need another self-help book. You don't need a guru. You have everything you need to be great already inside you. It's just buried under years of noise.
The American dream isn't about accumulating the most stuff before you die. True freedom is the ability to choose your own struggles. Dying to say, it's the ability to say no. No.
Release the parking brake. Shatter the mirror. Stop adding, start subtracting. When you clear away the debris, you will finally meet the person you actually are. Your time is running out. Make it count. You think you lack discipline. You blame yourself for being lazy. But you are fighting an invisible war against billionaires whose only job is to hijack your dopamine.
Every time you refresh your feed, you are pulling the lever of a digital slot machine. And the currency, you are gambling with coins, but with 1,000 hives is your lifespan.
They designed the algorithms to exploit your evolutionary fears. Fear of missing out. Fear of being irrelevant. You think you are making choices, but mere puppet in a grand terrace-reacta game.
In this digital economy, your attention is the highest form of wealth, which means strategic subtraction isn't just self-improvement. It is the ultimate act of rebellion. Now let's talk about the hardest thing you will ever have to subtract. Harder than apps? Harder than fake friends? You have to subtract your past self.
We cling to the degrees we earned, the job titles we bled for, the identities we built. We drag the corpse of our past into our future, simply because of the time we spent building it.
But if that identity no longer is the person you are becoming today, you must have the absolute ruthless to
It will hurt. The ego screams when it is being starved. But on the other side of that destruction is a profound, terrifying lightness. Welcome to Ground Zero.
When you first reach ground zero, you won't feel enlightened. You will feel terrified. Because for the first time in your life, it is quiet. Without the constant noise of the timeline, without the mask of your job title, your own company's its transformation, your own thoughts will echo. The demons you've running from will finally catch up. Your brain, starved of its cheap dopamine, will beg you to go back, to download the app, to buy the thing, to return to the warm, familiar prison.
This is where 99% of people flinch. They relapse. But you must sit in the fire. Let it burn away the remaining of ancient purities.
Society tells you that focus is a matter of willpower, that if you just try harder, you can work through the chaos. That is a corporate lie, glowing Exhaustion. Willpower is just a finite battery. If you live in a world designed to distract you, your battery will be dead by noon. Focus is not a battery, and terrifying, focus is a dam. Not a single drop penetrating its perfectly sealed seams. You don't fight the river of distractions with your bare hands. You build an environment where the river cannot touch you.
Monks don't sit in the middle of a light club to practice meditation. They go the mountains. They subtract the world to master the mind. We have infused movement with progress. We worship at the altar of busy, wearing our exhaustion like a toxic badge of honor.
You open 20 tabs, reply to emails during meetings, and consume podcasts at 2x speed. You think you are hacking time. You are just fracturing your soul.
You aren't being productive. You are just distracting yourself with cheap accompaniment to avoid the terrifying depth of real, meaningful work. To build the dam, you must become an architect of your environment. If you need willpower to not check your phone, your environment has already defeated you.
Create a sacred space, a physical location where the internet cannot reach you, where notifications go to die. Enter this space, and you enter a different realm.
This is where deep work begins. The kind of work that actually moves the needle. The kind of work that creates empires, writes masterpieces, and builds legacies. But be warned, the first 20 minutes will feel like physical pain. Your hijacked brain will scream for a hit of distraction. It will beg you to just check your inbox.
Wart one more time.
Don't negotiate with it. Stare into the discomfort. Push through the invisible wall of resistance, and on the other side, you will enter the flow state!
In the flow state, time dilates. An hour feels like a minute. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are dictating reality. While the rest of the world is drowning in a shallow puddle of notifications, you are diving into the Mariana Trench of your own potential. This is where true value is forged, not in the frantic typing of a meaningless email, but in the silent, heavy lifting, unbroken focus.
When you finally emerge, you will be exhausted. But it won't be the hollow, anxious exhaustion of a scroll biz. It will be the heavy, peaceful exhaustion of a victorious warrior. Your dopamine baseline begins to heal. Suddenly, the simple things, a walk, a cup of coffee, the silence, become intoxicatingly beautiful again.
Because you are no longer a slave to external stimulation. You have crossed the chasm. You have become an active creator instead of a passive consumer.
You look around at the competition, at the rat race, and you realize something terrifyingly liberating. There is competition, because they are all playing the wrong game.
The American dream they sold you was just a subscription model, designed to keep you running on the wheel. But true wealth is absolute sovereignty over your own mind.
But I have to warn you, when you start subtracting, when you stop showing up to the pointless events, when you stop engaging in the drama, society will attack you.
They will call you obsessed. They will call you selfish. It's a spent body seeming to drink flicker of hope in its form. Because your silence is a mirror reflecting their own wasted potential.
You will lose friends, and it will hurt. But you must understand, they weren't your friends. They were accomplices in your distraction.
They will try to weaponize guilt to drag you back to the baseline. You've changed, they will say. And your only response must be, exactly.
Subtraction requires drawing boundaries so thick that mediocrity cannot cross them. You are no longer available for cheap dopamine. You are out of stock.
This is the price of the summit. The air is thinner up here. It is cold, and it is lonely. But the view is breathtaking. When you silence the opinions of none of the crowd, the only voice left in the room is yours. And for the first time, you will actually hear what it is saying. It isn't yelling at you to hustle. It isn't screaming at you to buy more things. It is quietly, calmly, pointing you towards your true north.
tomorrow morning, the war begins again. When you open your eyes, do not reach for the machine. Do not into the first mirror. Do not look into the first mirror.
Let the first hour of your day belong entirely to you. No input, no emails, no bad news from a world you cannot control. Just the blank canvas of your own mind.
To protect this peace, you must learn the most powerful word in the human language. No. It is a complete sentence. It requires no apology.
Understand this. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you are assassinating your own potential. Seeming pure numbness, snake and crack come completes its path. You are trading your legacy for a momentary distraction.
You don't need to do 100 things. The world is full of exhausted generalists. You need to subtract everything until you can do one thing dangerously well.
Use the Exhaustion Trap of friction to your advantage. Make the bad habits impossible to reach. Build a fortress of friction around your vices.
And when the sun goes down, the machine must turn off. Create a digital sunset. Disconnect from the hive mind and return to the physical world.
Reclaim your boredom. Stop running from it. Boredom is not a void to be filled with cheap, lumped entertainment. Boredom is the fertile soil where true genius grows.
We live as if we have an infinite amount of time. We scroll, we wait, we hesitate. Someday, believing that someday the conditions will be perfect.
But someday is a lie. It is the graveyard of human potential. A comforting fiction we tell ourselves to avoid the absolute terror of starting today.
Look at your hands. Really look at them. They are aging. The clock is ticking, and the universe doesn't care about your excuses or your infinite scrolling.
This is the ultimate subtraction, subtracting the illusion that you have forever. When you embrace your mortality, every single second becomes incredibly heavy.
You don't need another self-help book. You don't need a guru telling you to wake up at 4 a.m. You have everything you need to be great, already inside of you. It's just buried. Buried under years of societal expectations, corporate diction, and the relentless deafening noise. Deafenings of a world trying to sell you back your own attention.
The American dream isn't about accumulating the most stuff before you die. It's not about dying with the highest score in a rigged game.
True freedom is the ability to choose your own struggles. It's the ability to look the noise dead in the eye and say no.
Release the parking brake. Shatter the first mirror. Stop adding to the chaos and start subtracting. Burn away the dead wood.
Because when you clear away the debris of who you were supposed to be, you will finally meet the person you actually are.
The game is ending. The timeline is closing. You are standing at the absolute center of your own life. Right here, right now.
Your time is running out. Make